Hello, second graders. Mrs. Cagney here with some more poetry for you. Did you have fun doing your alliteration lesson yesterday? I hope you finished that. We're going to review for a minute what alliteration is. It's kind of a big word. Did everybody try to say it? Alliteration? Try it. It's kind of cool to know a big word like that, but what does it mean? Read this sentence with me, would you? When words in a sentence, story, or poem begin with the same letter, we call that what? Say it again. Alliteration. Very good. So, Adam ate an apple. Beth blew her blue balloon. Kathy calls her cat Carla. Dean dines with Dan at Domino's. So you heard A's in the sentence about Adam, B's in Beth's sentence, C for Kathy, and D for Dean. What if we wrote a sentence about Eden? Eden eats eggs? It doesn't sound the same because it's a short E, but it's still an E, right? I don't know if Eden really likes eggs or not. Maybe she can tell us sometime. But that's alliteration. Now, I've got some more poems for you. And first, these aren't really poems. These are just sentences. But we've got a sentence with lots of B's. Read it with me. Big brown bears bought bigger books. How about the L sentence? Little Lily Lovelace loves Lulu's look. Boys, would you read the sentence that starts with Peter? Peter Piper's pet pig prefers Pam. And girls, why don't you read the Josh sentence with me? Josh and Jonas juggle, jiggle, jerk, and jam. Now I've found some more poems for you. Here's a great one. I'll read this for you. Soap Hope. I'm standing in the shower, and today I have to cope with a slimy slice of skinny, slippery, flimsy, dripping soap. I try to grip the sudsy strip to scrub my crudzy self, and when I'm clean, I slide the sliver on a corner shelf. Tomorrow when I shower, I close my eyes and hope I'll find it's been replaced by a fresher, fatter soap. Most of the alliteration we've seen was where they used all the same letter in the sentence. But in Soap Hope, they have used different letters and just repeated them maybe a couple times. So on the first line, I'm standing in the shower. So you've got the S's, even though this S is the SH sound. But down here, there's a bunch of S's, right? Slimy slice of skinny, slippery soap, right? And then we've got two S's here, sudsy, strip. Oh, there's more. Scrub and self. Slide and sliver and shelf. And then at the bottom line, we have a little bit of alliteration with F's. Fresher and fatter, right? I like that poem. I think it's kind of fun. Oh, now I've got one with my husband's name in it. Tigers. Tim, the terrifying tiger, tiptoes through tangled trees, his twitching tail thumping, his terrible teeth terrifying turtles who tumble away. Oh, the poor little turtles. They can just go into their shell and be pretty safe, can't they? God gave them a nice way to protect themselves. Now I've got kind of a funny one. If you want to try and read this with me the second time, you can. I'm going to read it once by myself. Are you listening? Whether the weather be fine, or whether the weather be not, whether the weather be cold, or whether the weather be hot, we'll weather the weather, whatever the weather, whether we like it or not. That's a good poem for us Minnesotans, isn't it? Because we never know if we're going to have spring on Saturday and winter on Sunday, right? Our weather changes quickly, doesn't it? All right, try to read it with me this time. It's kind of fun to read. Whether the weather be fine, or whether the weather be not, whether the weather be cold, or whether the weather be hot, we'll weather the weather, whatever the weather, whether we like it or not. What'd you think? Did you get it all? All right, now you're going to really like this one. And if you have a younger brother or sister, they might like this one too, especially if they're in kindergarten or first grade. This tooth, I jiggled it, jaggled it, jerked it. I pushed and pulled and poked it. But as soon as I stopped and left it alone, this tooth came out on its very own. So we heard some alliteration up here with what letter? Did you say J? You were right if you did. Jiggled, jaggled, and jerked. And in the second paragraph, we have words that start with P. Pushed, pulled, and poked. And then there's not really any alliteration in that last paragraph, and that's just fine. So sometimes a poem might have alliteration throughout the whole thing or in just part of it. That little guy's happy that he got his tooth out. The next poem, and it's our last one for the day. I hope I can read it. It's really a tricky one. It's another tongue twister. A fly and a flea flew up in a flue. Okay, before I go on, do you know what a flue is? This kind of flue right here? It's the big, long sort of tower of a fireplace. So a fly and a flea got in a fireplace and flew up the flue, which leads to outside, right? Okay, so I'm going to start over. A fly and a flea flew up in a flue. Said the fly to the flea, "What shall we do?" "Let's fly," said the flea. "Let's flee," said the fly. So they fluttered and flew up a flaw in the flue. Oh my goodness. You should show that one to your parents and see how you do reading that one. Try to read it quickly. It's really fun to do. All right, well, now we have an assignment, and I'm going to show it to you on the computer right here. So you are going to create an alliteration poem by describing a monster based on this list. On your activity on Seesaw, you will see this picture. If you want to write directly on the picture, you can, or you can get a piece of paper and write like I did. I'm going to show you mine in just a minute, but first let's read through what you're going to do. So you're going to make up the name of your monster first, and you have to choose a letter that you're going to use. So maybe your monster is going to be called Silly Sam, or Scary Sam, or maybe your monster is going to be called I can't think of anything. Well, I'll tell you what mine is called. Mine is called Washburn Wacko. Your monster does not have to be scary if you don't want him to be. Then on your next line, you're going to write where he lives, and again, you use the same letter. So you can make up the name of a city, or you can use a real city, or you can just have his street name. But it has to be the same letter that you used with the monster's name. And then what he eats, what he likes, what it doesn't like, and what it does to you. So again, you can make your monster scary or funny, happy, whatever you want. There's a picture. Maybe you want to draw your own monster. So I'm going to show you my assignment that I did. And look what it says at the bottom. Do not copy mine. If you do the same one I did, you will have to do it over. So first I had to put his name, and I called him Washburn Wacko. Washburn is my street, so that's where I got that idea. So now, because I chose Washburn Wacko, I have to use the letter W. Washburn Wacko lives in Walla Walla, Washington. Did you know Walla Walla is actually a city? And it is in Washington. But you can make one up too. He eats wide white watermelon. He likes walking on water with whales. But you'll never see him wandering with a wiggly worm. Washburn Wacko warns me of wild winds with a whisper. All right. Let's circle the W's just so you remember how you have to do this. So I decided on W. Washburn Wacko lives in Walla Walla, Washington. He eats wide white watermelon. He likes walking on water with whales. But you'll never see him wandering with a wiggly worm. Washburn Wacko warns me of wild winds with a whisper. All right. That is what you are going to do. So either you're going to write about your monster right on the picture that I put on Seesaw for you, or you're going to take a piece of paper and do what the directions say for each line. All right? Does that make sense? I hope so, and I hope you have fun writing your monster poem. I'm looking forward to seeing them. Have a good day, second graders.